Hi guys, my name's Anthony Cummins. I'm a historical researcher and author, and recently I got emailed a question and I'd like to do a video on that question. So here we go. It was, Anthony, how did they used to build ninja clans? So at first I looked at the question and was like, oh, I keep getting these questions, really sort of like, I'm going to say a daft question. But then it made me think, no, actually, let's go through this, because these are the misconceptions we have of the samurai and the ninja. And remember, I know there's loads of guys out there who knew loads about samurai, but there's a lot of the general public who don't really know, and myself, I'm on a quest to find out the truth. So I had a quick think about this and I thought, yeah, it's a good topic actually. So let's discuss it. How do you build a ninja clan? The simple fact is you don't build a ninja clan. It doesn't happen like that. And there are no such things as ninja clans, if you like, as you think of it. But maybe you'll understand what I mean a bit more by the end of this video. So first of all, let's look at the word clan. Obviously in English, the connotation of clan is a collection of families that come together, and it's slightly got different connotations to tribe. Tribe gives you a very Stone Age, prehistoric, sort of any form of industry, whereas clan gives you a very medieval, almost Celtic family, but Iron Age, weapons, with industry, not modern industry, but with industry included. I'm going for those connotations for those two words. Now, of course, we have to then look at the Japanese word, which is ie, which means house. So we have the same, wonderfully, we have the same word in English. So the word house in English also means clan. So for example, the House of Windsor, or the House of Toyotomi, or the House of Tokugawa, it means the big castle with the family and the associated families around it. That is that. I am a massive Dune fan. I love the series Dune. So you get House Atreides, House Harkonnen, those types of things. That's like medieval space opera. But the point is that we still love this idea of clans. But everybody's imagination of a ninja clan is, they're off in the mountains, the ninjas are there as a family and they're ninjas. That's just not true. It just is not like that. So basically, in Japan, by the time the ninja are active, looking at 1375 to 1868, that's your window of ninja activity, the islands of Japan are run by the samurai class or caste. And they form up into ie, houses. And of course, we all know the famous Tokugawa house, the Tokugawa shogun, and they have 3 sub-branches which form the 3 backup houses for the main shogun line. See where I'm going here? We've got the House of Tokugawa, the House of Ki Tokugawa, the House of Mito Tokugawa, and the House of... I forgot it, I'll come up with it later. So you've got these samurai clans who come together to form a single family. And that's everywhere in Japan, that's across Japan. However, you do also get peasant factions coming together called Ikko, and they will form bonds to protect themselves. But you then also get warrior monks, and they were really powerful. People don't realise that. They think the samurai were the ultimate power in Japan. Some of these warrior armed temples had vast power with vast complexes. So what you've got in Japan is basically peasants coming together to form boundaries, and then you get into the debate of, are the samurai above them, or are they formed enough to get rid of the samurai? Then you get the warrior monks who have basically contested with the samurai, and it's Nobunaga who goes against them and trounces them, and literally it's massacring monks in temples. But they're pretty rough monks, they're not soft, they're not praying, they are chopping heads off. And basically everybody killing everybody. So here you've got these 3 sections of power, and the shinobi, of course, come under the samurai faction basically. So remember, a shinobi or a ninja is a job inside of a military army. So you will have shinobi inside of, let's say the monks, but I've never found documents for that, but we can assume that's obvious. So how do you get a ninja clan? Well, you don't, you get a samurai clan. So if you go to Iga and Koka, which are the famous places for ninja, not the only places for ninja, which is well established, they are just famous for it, not the only ones. In Iga and Koka, before Oda Nobunaga in 1581 trounces them, basically you've got samurai clans there in Iga and Koka, and they are famous for their warriors to be studying ninjutsu, shinobi no jutsu. They are shinobi no mono, and they are hired across all of Japan. This is well documented. They send out their men, their samurai or half samurai, to go out, or even ashigaru, which again is half samurai, to go out across Japan and act as shinobi. So this is where it gets a little bit complicated. So let's go back to the house. Now the house here, let's think of an Iga family there, yeah, the Iga, let's go with Hattori Hanzo, okay? Hanzo's family. Hanzo is there. He's Hanzo, let's call him the top of the Iga family. He's actually, Hattori Hanzo is not from there. He's from the same place as Tokugawa Ieyasu. But, you know, just for ideas, we've got a Hattori family in Iga. And at the top of that family is the patriarch, the number one, the apex warrior, the number one guy. And it's not a nuclear family, 2.4 children. It's literally a collection of families, like probably 20 cousins here and 30 cousins there and 10 aunties and uncles there. And what happens is you get I'm using this, by the way, if you want to know where I'm getting the info from. I'm using Crested Kimono, which is a great book on the, it was actually sort of recommended by Natori, who loves family dynamics, and this is a perfect and very difficult book on internal Japanese family dynamics. And the idea is that you get this patriarch at the top, and the line goes down and it will break off into line B, line C, line D, line E, and you'll get multiple houses. So you've got a village with Hattori house there, Hattori house there, Hattori house there, Hattori, you know, wherever, if they've gone and moved, it doesn't matter, they've got lineage together. And you've got the patriarch at the top. And some of these, to talk to each other, have to go up, across, talk to that man, and he will talk to them, who will then respond. They can't directly sometimes just go and ask for something. Obviously, I'm sure they can go and have tea with each other, but if something needs to be done family business-wise, they have to follow the proper clan structure. So that clan structure is in place, they've got to follow it, the patriarch is there. Sometimes if the patriarch dies, the clans break into different lines and you get two patriarchs of, so for example, Tokyo, this happens with Natori. So the Natori clan in 1580s break up and go to Edo period, Edo, the city, Yedo, and they become the Natori in Yedo, and then you get the Natori in Wakayama, Kishu, and that's after they've finish the battle, Sekigahara and everything, and they end up as two separate clans. And that means Natori Masazumi, the guy who wrote the Shoninki, is the patriarch of his new line. But, you know, he can trace himself to another bigger house of that line. So it gets really complicated, guys, when you're talking about Japanese ie, the houses. And you get a patriarch, break off patriarchs, you get internal struggles. But the point is it's not a ninja clan. These are samurai clans, some of which are famous for containing shinobi no jutsu, the arts of the ninja, inside of their lines. But it gets even more complicated because, let's go back to Iga, the guy from Iga is being hired out to serve in Odawara. He's gone to Odawara and he's serving there. He has to serve the Lord of the Castle. The Lord of the Castle is giving him, not physical cash, but he's giving him a salary. So therefore his loyalty is now to this family. So that family becomes, in essence, his family, or he serves that family. So now he's got split loyalties. He's got genial loyalties and blood ties back to his family, but he's also got salary loyalty to his new lord. And now he will go there and he, if he would like and can do, can set up a new patriarch, and he becomes the patriarch and then starts a new line. So you get lots of these broken lines, a little bit like the Matrix code going down, of these patriarchs, sub-patriarchs, different branches, all the way down the family listings, and they all interconnect, and it gets really, really difficult. So the point of asking where or what are ninja clans, how do you form them? You never form a ninja clan. You form an ie, a house, as a warrior, and to do that you have to own land. If you don't own land, you have to be paid by a daimyo, a warlord, or someone who does own the land, who gives you land and says, you farm it, you get your farmers to farm it, and you look after this area, and I will give you enough money to last as a warrior. And oh, you're a ninja as well? Great, yeah, so you're hired as a ninja. So whatever they're actually doing, that's what they're hired for, but they're part of the EA now, and they obviously have moved. But it gets even more complicated in the fact that it's not always blood ties. So in the genial one, the one that's actually about blood and relatives, if someone is a little bit incompetent or they don't think he's going to take over well enough, they can actually adopt people, and this still happens today in Japan. You can be adopted. Even I could be adopted into a Japanese family, if you know what I mean. If I had the expertise to run a car factory, they could adopt me and say, your name is now Kawasaki or whatever, and you're a Kawasaki member, and then I become a member of that EA. It still exists today. Of course, as everything in Japan, the bonds are breaking and everything's getting watered down, so it's not quite as strong as it was in samurai times. But the Japanese clan, the EA, the house of, is a very interesting subject. And basically, we need to stop looking at the ninja guys as this separate entity that live in the mountains, smoke marijuana, float on clouds, and throw shuriken everywhere. Yeah, we've got to get away from that. So at first I thought the question was a little bit silly, but then I realised, no, that's the point of your job, Anthony. Your job is to explain to the general public that, no, we've got to look at this differently. Let's take a fresh look at this. Because everybody was thinking, yeah, ninja clans versus samurai clans. But no. However, I've not quite finished. There's one more addition, and that's the Ryuha, the Shinobi Ryuha. Of course, we've got EA clans, but then later on, it starts as basically your EA, your house, your clan. But then people start to accumulate into schools and the Ryuha, and they're like, okay, I'm part of this school, I'm part of that school. Of course, their clan still comes way above a Ryuha. But certain Ryuha, certain schools, start teaching the arts of the shinobi. So those arts that developed before schools even existed start to get codified and put into different schools. Of course, the famous one which I do is Natori Ryu, and they have a full curriculum of ninjutsu. But that is the Natori family system of ninjutsu, which is then codified into a school. And the Natori, so this is a perfect example. The House of Natori continue as generational retainers to the House of Tokugawa in Kishu, in Ki. But branching off actually comes the heads of the school. The first 3 or 4 are Natori members, then it branches off, and by the end, by 1868, it's in the hands of the Yabutani family. So the Yabutani family, the House of Yabutani, own or have command over the shinobi teachings of the House of Natori. So you've got this really bizarre idea that the House of Natori continue, but the House of Natori teachings are maintained in the Yabutani family. Yeah? So when you say, you know, how do we do a ninja clan? Totally different. You've got 3 options. You've got house, bloodline, or adopted. You've got house, salary, who you work for, and you may be training there. And then you've got school, you're inside a school. So there's no such thing as a ninja clan. There are samurai, there are warriors, there are bandits, there are thieves who all deal in shinobi no jutsu, yeah? So it's not a case of a group of people living by themselves doing ninjutsu. I hope you enjoyed that, guys. I know that was one of my more complicated videos. I try my best to make everything come across as simple, but when you're talking about Japanese internal family dynamics and social interaction, you are really looking at it's a very difficult society in that sense. So for more videos like this, subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you later.